All happy families are likewise. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. The two most important soldiers are tolerance and time. Still, B. If you want to be happy, everything that I understand only because I love. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no bone thinks of changing himself. Respect was constructed to cover the empty place where love should be. The sole meaning of life is to serve humanity. Without knowing what I'm and why I'm, then life is insolvable. Art isn't a handcraft. It's the transmission of feeling the artist has endured. The stylish way to escape from a problem is to break it. Still, you will no way be happy if you look for perfection. Happiness is an fable, unhappiness a story. Seize the moments of happiness. Love and be loved. That's the only reality in the world. All differently is idiocy. The topmost happiness you can have is knowing that you don't inescapably bear happiness. Joy can only be real if people look upon their life as a service, and have a definite object in life outside themselves and their particular happiness. We lost because we told ourselves we lost. The strongest of all soldiers are these two, time and tolerance. A man is like a bit whose numerator is what he's and whose denominator is what he thinks of himself. The larger the denominator, the lower the bit. The verity is that the state is a conspiracy designed not only to exploit but overall to loose its citizens. All violence consists in some people forcing others, under trouble of suffering or death, to do what they don't want to do. The law condemns and punishes only conduct within certain definite and narrow limits. It thereby justifies, in a way, all analogous conduct that lie outside those limits. The further we live by our intellect, the lower we understand the meaning of life. A man is like a bit whose numerator is what he's and whose denominator is what he thinks of himself. Free thinkers are those who are willing to use their minds without prejudice and without stewing to understand effects that disaccord with their own customs, boons, or beliefs. War is so unjust and unattractive that all who wage it must try to stifle the voice of heart within themselves. A person can live on the satisfaction of their solicitations just as long as one can stand cold by staying in the room. There's no greatness where there isn't simplicity, virtuousness, and verity. Without faith, one is lost. Digging in our souls, we frequently dig up commodity that ought to have lain there unnoticed. The idol of my tale, whom I love with all the power of my soul, whom I've tried to portray in all his beauty, who has been, is, and will be beautiful, is truth, indeed in the veil of the shadow of death. 2 and 2 don't make 6. A man can live and be healthy without killing creatures for food. Thus, if he eats meat, he participates in taking beast life simply for the sake of his appetite. The Christian family is the first cell of the whole Christian society. The lesser the state, the more wrong and cruel its nationalism, and the lesser is the sum of suffering upon which its power is innovated. Chroniclers are like deaf people who go on answering questions that no bone has asked them. Pure and complete anguish is as insolvable as pure and complete joy. The only thing that we know is that we know nothing, and that's the loftiest flight of mortal wisdom. The most delicate subjects can be explained to the most slow-witted man if he has not formed any idea of them formerly. But the simplest thing cannot be made clear to the most intelligent man if he's forcefully converted that he knows formerly, without a shadow of mistrustfulness, what's laid before him. There's commodity in the mortal spirit that will survive and prevail. There's a bitsy and brilliant light burning in the heart of man that won't go out no matter how dark the world becomes. Be bad, but at least do not be a fabricator. A fabricator. The law of love could be best understood and learned through little children. Still, speak with your will. If you want to be universal, one of the first conditions of happiness is that the link between man and nature shall not be broken. The most important knowledge is that which guides the way you lead your life. A man can live and be healthy without killing creatures for food. Thus, if he eats meat, he participates in taking beast life simply for the sake of his appetite. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no bone thinks of changing himself. There's no greatness where there's no simplicity, virtuousness, and verity. Happiness doesn't depend on outside effects, but on the way we see them. The stylish way to escape from a problem is to break it. The sole meaning of life is to serve humanity.